because I am says I am. In the valley of shadows I'll stand. Fearless I walk through the night, with faith as my guiding light. I am because I am says I am. In His presence I take my stand. Thou prepares a table before me, even in the presence of my enemy. Anointed with oil, my head held high. I am who I am, no need to justify. Goodness and mercy follow my way, for I am who God says I am each day. I am because I am says I am. In His house I find my eternal rest, forever and ever, amen. With Him I am truly blessed. I am because I am says I am. In His presence I take my stand. Thou prepares a table before me, even in the presence of my enemy.
Hey everybody, let me turn this music off. All right. Let me pull my guest up here. I don't know if I should call Swalo a guest anymore, y'all, because this is like my co-host, because we do a lot together, and we really, when we get together on this podcast, well, we don't know what's gonna happen, but we just go for it. Hey, Swalo.
How you doing, Miss Judy? And again, thank you for having me. So, how's
Oh,
everything going? Well, I know everything's going fine because we're here tonight. So,
yeah, and I see you got earphones. Now, wait a minute now. You should have told me. I would have got me some.
well, okay. So I'm trying out this podcast equipment that I've been having for a little bit over a year now, and I'm like, you know what? I've never put it to use. I had my sound card and everything, microphone. But I started having a little complications. I was like, you know what? Just let me just stick with the headphones right now, and
It
yeah.
sounds good. It sounds really good. Well,
Okay.
everybody, welcome to Generational Turnaround Podcast, where we seek the truth and then we bring you the proof by the guests that we invite to the show. They are professionals in their fields. And so, y'all know us now. And this today is Disability Unplugged. And we're unplugging some of the myths about the disabled. And we have been through, we are overcomers, but we have disabilities that label us as different. But God has been so good to us that we are not going to claim any of that. Because whatever you lose, God definitely gives you more than you had. What do you think about that, Swalo?
Well, I mean, I'm like experiencing all of that right now with everything that I'm going through because I lost everything um back in I think 2018, 2019. I was saying what I wanted to do. Everybody said they would. You heard that this morning on Clubhouse. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Mhm.
And I'm glad that we're talking about that now. But everybody kept telling me how they were going to help me. Oh yeah, because I told them what I wanted to do, and they said it was a good idea, but apparently it wasn't a good idea because all the help that they said they were going to give me, I never received it. I had to become disabled in order to walk in that same dream. I mean, like, well, I was in the process of receiving my disability at that time. And I still was saying, no, I'm not disabled. I'm going back to work. I'm going back to work. But now that I understand that I am 100% completely disabled, um, because the code tells me, in the morning it tells me, I'm like, you know what? I had to become disabled in order for me to receive this, God had to sit me down in order to set me up. Because if I would have kept doing things my way, even though I knew I wanted to do this, but I stayed too busy. I kept going. I kept working two jobs. I kept doing things that God didn't want me to do. So he was like, okay, you want to keep doing this? You okay? I'm going to give you what you want, but you're going to have to understand who I am, and you're going to have to understand whose you are first.
Yes.
So again, my disability is a setup in disguise. It's a blessing. And Suelo is my brand now. That's my brand. So yeah.
And Suelo stands for,
Suelo stands for situations will alter your life's outlook, because I was taught one thing. I was supposed to live this certain life that my family, told me I was supposed to live. But then life happened. Life happened, and all of those situations that I went through, it altered everything that I thought that I was supposed to be looking at a certain way, a particular way. I was like, no, 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 no. That's not even it. That's something totally different. I'm like, okay, so it's not my way. It's not the way that they said it's supposed to be. Let me go to God. God, okay, what do you want me to do? You want me to use my talent? Okay, here we go. And also, something else I did have to learn is that during the process, God removed the wrong people from my life. The people that said that they were going to help me, they were not there to actually help me. They were there to hinder me, because they were there for the fun, but they were not there for the push that I needed. So, like I said, God had to remove them and replace other people in my life. And now here I am. And I'm just like, okay, 2025, I'm stepping in it and going through it. So yeah.
are you meeting other people, not necessarily to take those people places, but and then again, you are meeting people that God has aligned you with, that you didn't even know that you needed them or what they had until you started working in your purpose. Is that true for you? I'm talking about me, but I'm just asking you. Is
It
that
is. It is. Because actually, what like I said, when I went to Clubhouse, Clubhouse actually opened a lot of doors. But in the beginning, I was so shy. I didn't want to speak, and the only reason why I didn't want to speak is because of what was instilled in me growing up. Nobody wants to hear what you're saying. Stop talking so much. What you're saying doesn't even make sense. But then when I started understanding that there was a lot of people that didn't even understand the stuff that I went through even existed, or even if they do know that it exists, they're looking at me like, "How did you come out of it?"
yeah.
And I had somebody ask me that. They said,
Mhm.
"Swayla, what keeps you going? What motivates you?" And I said, "God's promise."
That's the best answer right there. God's promise.
Yeah, but I had to go through it to understand
Tell
it.
him. That's
I
right.
did. I had to lose my ability to walk. I had to understand that nobody was coming. Even out of everybody that I had helped. And I even called myself trying to be in a relationship at that point. And I was still left in the room for 8, 9, 10 hours, with nothing to drink. So at one point, I was almost in kidney failure. And when I was calling on my family, well, I don't want to call out specific family members, but when I was calling on family members, um I was told, there's nothing wrong with me. I'm crazy, or maybe I just need to just go take my vitamins and something like that. And I'm sitting there thinking, like, I'm almost in kidney failure and you're telling me to go take vitamins? That doesn't. But I didn't tell them because I had already went through cancer, and went through stage 4 endometriosis. And now here I am, I'm struggling with, fighting to keep my ability to walk. But yeah, so and that's why I am the way that I am. I stand on God's word, because everyone left. So now it's nothing and no one for God but God to get the glory. And that's why In this business that I'm starting, I haven't spent not one red dime, not one. God has blessed everything that I needed so far.
Okay. And I'm with you there because I went through similar, but I got to a point when me and God, just me and God, and I always tell everybody he put me on a potter's wheel because I needed some TLC. But I believe that God purposely took certain people out of my life. At first, I thought that they had just abandoned me, but I don't think so. I think that God took them out of my life. And it was like He put a sign over my forehead, and it said, do not enter, do not do nothing, turn, go, get away. And because, I mean, I had friends that I thought I would never leave me, but they did, and they never came back. So I guess that meant like they really wasn't my friends. Or just for a season. That's what right. Just for a season.
Well, reason, season, lesson, blessing. But at the same time, when we think that people are our friends, we tend to overextend the seasons, and then the seasons become very bitter, and sometimes we don't even know why. But I get that now. I think I
Mhm.
started understanding that back in 2017. It was right after the second car wreck, and I had to call on complete strangers to drive. And this young lady was 15, 16 years old, just learning how to drive. Didn't even have her driver's license, and she drove from Fort Worth, Texas to Dallas, Texas to come pick me up from the emergency room. And I had people right there in the same town, but she drove, and I was like, you know what? It's time to make a change. It's really time to make a change. But that young lady now, she has her own business. She's a stylist, a beautician. I mean, I'm grateful. I'm so grateful to have people like her in my life because she didn't exclude me. She did not exclude me. And like I said, if it wasn't for her, there were some things I would have been without. Yeah.
But then again, I say, even though we can say that because we're human and that our emotions kick in, but after a while, afterward, we think about, man, God, that was God. That was our
And
God. It's
that's it.
our God. He knew,
Yeah.
He knows the time, the place, He knows the ins and the out, and we can't. Now that's when forgiveness kicks in. Because after you see that you're in a better place than you was at that time, wow,
Mhm.
those people were for a season again.
Yeah, I had only known them for like maybe 3 weeks at the most or something like that. But see, I went in actually helping the mother because the mother had just relapsed. So the kids saw how I was helping them when the mother was out doing what she was doing. So they were like, okay, well, Suelo's been here. So, so me and these, it was two girls. We built a bond while their mother was out doing whatever, and I just showed them, that you don't have to be someone's biological just for them to take care of you and show you compassion and love. And so I showed them compassion and love, and they turned around and they showed the same love to me as soon as I needed it because I was like, I don't know how I'm getting home. And the young lady, she says, you know what? You've been here for me, and I don't care. She said, I'll drive. I'll drive. I'm coming to get you. And she told me, she said, I was scared. She said, but I did. She's like, I'm not leaving you behind. And every time I needed something, they would come in there and there's like, you need something? I'm like, I'm good, thank you. Yeah.
You know, we talk about our disability in, I put a hyphen in between dis and ability because hyphen is the separator when you put a hyper in. And I definitely did, want to separate that word because I have a list, and I sent you a copy of the list, Suelo, of people that has done great feats. They've done miraculous because, but they were still labeled disabled. And I'm calling you. I'm gonna tell you about it. One, oh, it's old. Everybody was taught about her when we were kids, but she's still very relevant for us who are disabled. So, an author, a political activist, a lecturer who became deaf and blind at a young age. She is best known for her advocacy for people with disabilities. She's a women's suffrage and labor rights. Helen Keller is her name. And Keller's life story continues to inspire countless individuals, and her work helped pave the way for better education and opportunities for people with disabilities. That is Helen Keller. I don't know if anybody has never heard of her name because I was a kid and that's the first person with disabilities that I heard about. And she's still relevant today because she's the first when I Googled those with disabilities that's left a legacy, her was the first name that came up. Which one did you pick to read, Suelo?
Oh, okay. Well, see, I didn't know. Well, I guess I would go with Tony Braxton, a Grammy winning singer who has been open about her experience with lupus, a chronic illness that affects her health. And you know what? My mother had lupus.
My
My mother had
friend, I
lupus.
got a
Yeah.
couple of friends that had lupus.
Yeah, these individuals have not only excelled in their respective fields, but have also raised awareness about disabilities and inspired others with their resilience and achievements.
And that's the myth. That we are myth breakers. That's what I put on this episode because there's a lot of people who are labeled disabled, but we are well able. And so God is so strategic and intentional that he will not let us use anything that happened to us as a reason to just stop, to stand stagnant, to just throw up the towel. He makes sure that we have something that so outstanding that people that comes around us, they notice from a distance that we are special and favored. The next person that I chose is an Academy Award winning actress who is deaf. Her name is Molly Martlin. Has used her platform to advocate for the deaf community and promote awareness about accessibility in the entertainment industry. She has worked on various projects that highlight the experience of deaf individuals through her performance and activism. I know her well, Molly Motlin. Do you know her, Suelo?
No, ma'am, but that's the one I was gonna read. That's how I was like, okay,
Uh-oh.
well, that's what I was looking at. I was like, okay, yeah. Mm.
Yes. Well, there's plenty more that you can read about because there's, you know, this ability has become, we've got so many actors, um, um, senators, we got presidents that were disabled, but they were still running this country. And right now, yeah, take a look around you. There's so many people who have accidents. They were born disabled. They were um, in some tragic accident that made them unable to do what they were normally doing for a living. And so, I'm, did you get? You have someone you're gonna go read?
Well, I mean, I know that we are getting kind of close on time, but I just wanted to say something though about the disability thing to try to help people, especially for people that are new to the disability world, and for some that don't even understand. Because, like I said, I didn't even understand. Um, I wouldn't have never been able to tap into my talent if I wouldn't have ever became disabled. Um, I wouldn't have never became the humble individual that I am now because of the programming that was instilled in me. It was all wrong. It was all wrong. The stuff that I knew, if I would have never became disabled, I would have never got a chance to, how can I say, see the light. So the positive outlook of becoming disabled is, and that's what I'm getting out of what you're saying right now, and how people become famous and using their talent is because uh, that disability, as society says, it leaves you left out. So you learn different ways to become happy for one, learn how to live your life for two, and for three, you want to become the things that people say you cannot because you are quote unquote different. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with you on that. And that was good, Suelo. Because I see the same thing with the people that I'm reading about. They all had a different situation, and I'm gonna. Do you know Dwayne the Rock Johnson?
Yes, ma'am. I was looking at that you.
Yes. While not disabled himself, he has been a strong advocate for individuals with disability and has collaborated with organizations to support them. Now, he's not disabled, but yet he was and I'm gonna say by God, used to help those who, and he may have a friend, he may have a family member, but he's an advocate. And that's what we need, more advocates to give opportunities to disabled people. We need opportunities. We may have to do it a little different than the norm, but given the chance, the opportunity, we may design a way to do it that our normal counterparts will say, I want to do it that way. That makes more sense. That's more productive. Oh, wow. You know, so I'm an advocate. We are both advocates for disabled because we wear that cape. And so we want to go out there and tell everybody that lives with that stigma, that myth that, well, I'm like this. There's nothing else I can do. My life is over. They're not, it's not. And all the advocates helps. They help when they tell somebody to hire a disabled person because they have already done the same thing. So I want you all to think about someone that you know that has been labeled disabled and them, you've seen them at their best, but we all need you. If me and Suelo had stopped, y'all wouldn't be seeing us right now, talking to you and pouring our heart out to you. So, Suelo, do you have some final words?
Final words. Again, for anybody that's new to the quote unquote disability world, it's not the end. It's just the beginning of your new life. It's the beginning of your new business. It's the beginning of your new humbleness. Because again, my disability changed everything about me. I was mean. I was aggravated. No, I had rage. I'm not going to. I had rage. I thought I could. I'm making everything happen. I got to get out here and make it. Let me see. Generational turnaround. That's something else. That's a different. You know how we said the youngster used. I had to go out there and get the bag. I was doing all of that. Now my disability said, you know what? You better sit down. You can't do nothing. Sit down. And that's how God controls me. That's how God says, remember, you are not God. Remember that I am. So every time I want to get up and do something, and if I don't pray about it, and if God says, "Remember, I'm God," that pain will come. It will come across my body, and I'll be like, "Okay, so I'm not supposed to do this. Remember, you are God. You got this under control." But when it's my time to move, I get up and move, and I do exactly what He wants me to do. So I look at my pain as a control mechanism because I'm hard headed, and God already knows I'm gonna do what I want to do because I'm a work in progress. Work in progress. My program from my teaching and upbringing tells me I have to do all these things. God is saying, sit down and remember who I am, and remember you are my daughter. So therefore, yeah, don't get discouraged. It may seem confusing in the beginning, but God will sit you down to set you up. But just and sometimes the things that we do as a profession, we overlook our talent. So when God sits us down, He will show us our talent so we can, use our talent that He gave us, not what man wants us to do. So I'm done with that. And as I say, I love you all to life on purpose. And Miss Judy, you are muted. You're muted.
Yes, I was trying. Well, my little dog got a little loud out there, so I had to mute her. But I was trying to see what that was in the comments, and it was Michael Jackson plays High. Okay. I don't know exactly
Wait,
what that
what? What did you
it
say?
said. It's in the comments. How can I show these? Says Michael Jackson plays High.
Oh, well, how Michael Jackson plays? How are you?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Hi,
Okay.
Michael Jackson. Look,
Yeah.
I, we know one thing. Everybody, thank you all for coming. And this is this has been Disability Unplugged, where we unplug the myths about being disabled and we give everybody the truth about being disabled. So I pray that today has been better than yesterday, but not as good as tomorrow. I pray that tomorrow will bring forth a double helping of blessings in the form of opportunity that you never saw coming. Thank you all. Thank you all. Good night. And we'll be back here tomorrow, 7 o'clock. And I don't know, Suelo will be back with me, or we might be bringing a couple of other people with us. Gotta come and find out. Okay, tomorrow we'll be talking about generational turnaround. Okay, you notice that's the name of the podcast. But we have different segments. Like tonight, it was Disability Unplugged. We have healing words, and then we have bridging the gap with the generational turnaround. So, good night, Suelo.
Good night, Miss Judy. Good night, everyone. And just remember, God will sit you down to set you up. And don't let anybody tell you that you cannot do it just because you're going through something, going through a disability, because you might come out of it.
That's right.
2024, a summit will convene. GT Summit, a vision like you never seen. God wrote the vision, time to make it plain. Young people understand it's not a game. Rebuke the negative, plug to the positive post. One love, one God.